Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Can you all hear me? I want to listen to students' voice. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Morning,
Okay.
Doctor.
Morning. How are you guys? Thank you again for still in the group to listen to the next talk. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. Okay, welcome back to Multimedia Week. As now we are going to have our second talk. Okay, which is very great talk about the data scientists in banking system. Okay, so somehow, of course, we know that money is very important. I nak tahu siapa yang rasa money tak important. Okay, when we talk about banking system, of course, it involve lots of technologies, or lots about the financial management and so on. So today we are very lucky to have Encik Fairuz Ali from Bank Islam, because Alhamdulillah we have a good collaboration with Bank Islam. And thank you, welcome Encik Fairuz. Apa khabar?
Khabar baik, Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so before we begin the talk, okay, I would like to briefly introduce the background of Mr. Fairuz Ali. So Mr. Fairuz Ali is actually head of data analytics of Center of Excellence in Bank Islam Berhad. Okay, before that, okay, he has a very excellent experience. Okay, before that he is in where he managed and facilitated the based audit plan process for department business plan. Okay, and also he built big data environment for marketing by using advanced machine learning analytics. Okay, and also he has experience in Axiata Analytics Center, where involved in strategic data science project for mobile network GSM domain, which covers mostly on Celcom and E.co with project in Malaysia, Cambodia, and Myanmar. Okay, there is very great experience. Okay, and currently he is set up and spearhead the data analytic initiative for Bank Islam. Okay, provide leadership on the continuous transformation on large complex data set into pragmatic actionable insights. Okay, so well today Encik Fairuz will share with us about the role of data scientists in bank industry and also application on data science in banking and what's required to become a data scientist. Okay, not just that, I think that along the way during the talk, Encik Fairuz will also ask students, and inshallah we will have reward, okay, for those who answer the first student who answered the correct answer Encik Fairuz question. Okay, without further ado, I would like to welcome Encik Fairuz for the talk. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hizma, for the brief introductions. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, clearly.
Yes. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So I think, thank you again for brief introductions. I'm Fairuz. I currently head of data analytics of COE. So basically in Bank Islam, well, specifically in banking, actually, I just joined bank in 2020. So about 2 years lah, almost 2 years lah. But before that, I was in telecommunication industry for almost 19 or 20 years, because I was graduated in 2001, and then immediately I joined telecommunication industry. During that time, I joined Telecom Malaysia, Celcom, around and the last company that I had with is Axiata lah. All right. So I think I'm very humble to share my experience, because I don't think that I'm very have a sufficient knowledge in data science, because my beginning of data science is just around, I think, the last of 5 years ago lah. Actually, it was started during when I was in internal audit. Okay, because the nature of internal audit during that time was we review the audit based on sampling. But how do we start review audit with 100% of data? Because of and also how do we conclude that in terms more on analytic perspective. So that's where I started explore, for example, anomaly detections, outliers. All those time we started with statistical analytics, and then after that we start with machine learnings, how to detect outliers or anomalies, for examples. And then that's where I begin with data science. And then I moved to Axiata. That's where I do projects, data science projects with mobile telecommunications. And talking about mobile telecommunications is one of the industry that has a huge of data actually. If you understand your mobile phone, actually, it collects your data every minute because your mobile phones is connecting to the cell tower, the nearest tower, every minute to know where is your location. And that's why, for example, the authority like police or investigations, they know where you are based on your last mobile locations, and that is because your mobile phone is giving that locations. All right. So and then imagine that in Malaysia we have 32 million of people populations. Like right, 90% of them having mobile phones. That is about huge amount of data lah is generating, and that's where big data coming in, and then that's where also the data science come in to simplify and help to address the business process. All right. So from telecommunication industry, then I moved to banking, and I thought that mobile financial institutions doesn't have that enough data, less data, right? But the thing is not actually, because when I look into financial institution, there's a lot of data also, and we are talking about not only the financial transaction data, but also the non-transactional data, right? Like your login to your internet banking, you log out, you go to ATM, you retrieve your check your balances, kan? So there's a lot of data. Okay. All right. So let's begin on the data science in financials. So it just align. We know that we talk about data analytics, but we need to understand where does this data analytics positions in Malaysia. Because when we understand this, then we are aligned with the rest of the industry that is moving towards this. So AI is just data science. A part of AI is just a part of it of the whole industry IR 4.0, because we have like other areas that also moving towards that, like cybersecurity, autonomous robot, IoT, cloud computing, augmented reality, a lot more lah. All right. So we know that this is where it really understand that we are on the par with the other industry, and it's very exciting moment lah. Actually, it shows that it's very exciting moment. They are very demand guarantee future proof role in the future lah. Okay. Okay, so not only talking about data analytics, as I said, telecommunication has already started and embarked, and a lot of use cases has been built and developed and deployed. Well, in financial, to be true, to tell you is that in financials, bank and institutions, the evolutions of data science in this area is very slow. Okay, and that is the only reason to do that is because in financial institutions it has a lot of regulations by negara, right? And we talk about money, so it's about money, and talk about securing the customer trust. So imagine that, for example, that if you knows that there's one bank has leaked your informations, meaning that how many money that you have, how many, where the money you come from, the information has been leaked, for example. If it's been leaked, then you don't trust the bank anymore, right? Then you move your money to other banks. So that's where the reasons that bank is really critical in ensuring that the data is being kept in bank is very properly governed, right? And then that's where whatever that you learn currently in at UPM, you're talking about data management, you're talking about data lineage, you're talking about data governance, we're talking about data security. All these are very relevant, and is being heavily used and highly demand in banking industry, because we need these people. Actually, we need these people to understand, to justify why do we need to do this, why do we need to secure single sign-on, for example, why do we need to secure for example SSL, right? Interconnections between login, we need to be secure, right? How do we need, what's the purpose of having metadata, for example? There's a reason for that, and because of the in banking, it is very stressed on governance actually. So in Bank Islam, we also already started implement data science, right? For example, sorry, I was moving from the other one to the other one, right? I was moving from governance to data science. So talking about governance, then we're talking about data science, right? That's where, because if we have the good governance, that it will very helpful in running your data science projects, okay? Because the quality of the data is really depends on the data governance itself, right? How do we define the data definitions? Do you have the data dictionary? Who control it, for example? Who manage it? Who are the system owner? Who are the who give the permissions, for example, right? So because data science really depends on data, so if we don't really emphasize on the quality of the data, then it's just like what we call rubbish in and rubbish out. Okay, so that's where data governance in banking is very important. And then once we have that data governance properly, then we can start doing data science, and that's where data science will be very helpful. Okay, the result of the data science will be very beneficial. And in Bank Islam, we have already started using a lot of implement data science activities like credit risk modeling, trading investment, right? Facial recognitions of override and chatbot. Okay. So what does really drive a banking industry for data science? So for us to embed data science. So there are 4 areas that I took the slide with the board of directors. But when I taught this to the board of directors, I believe that the students here also will be benefits, because I'm talking about the same language to the board of directors and also to the student also. We talk about what the importance to the management. We say that the more important is talent, R&D, culture, and infrastructure. All right. So from your perspective as a student, the most important thing, you have to focus on your talent. All right. If you want to embark in this role, you have to really focus and build your talent in this field actually. Okay, and show to and sell yourself that you are really a good data scientist, potential good data scientist compared to other candidates, for example. All right. And then the rest of the what we are looking is the R&D and also culture. So maybe culture and infrastructure is not very relevant to you, but from your perspective as a student, you should focus on building your skills, and also you must have a lot of your self-initiative related to R&D. Okay, because that will really distinguish yourself when you go for any interview. They will distinguish yourself with other candidates when you have your own self initiative R&D itself. Okay. All right. So when we talk about data science in banking, we talk about a lot of area in banking. There are a lot of area in like risk modeling, fraud detection, understanding customer lifetime value, customer segmentation, recommendation engine, and real-time predictive analytics, right? And this and the reason for banking really embark in data science is because of it gives the management to derive any decision making based on analytics actually, because the analytics itself shows the indications of how does the customer is doing. For example, is that if you want to understand the customer, who is our customer, what is our customer is doing right now, how do we have a high net worth value customer. Are we customer in banking mostly young people or old, middle-aged people or older people, right? So in doing that, that's where data science come in and to help to derive what are the segmentation for the customer itself, right? Because if you look, try to understand, although customer who first registered in banking, they are already fill the forms, right? I believe that you guys, I'm sure you have used to open account, saving accounts, right? So you fill all your forms, right? You are student, how old are you, where do you locate, right? Okay, if you already start a job, then you open a bank account, then you say like, okay, my salary is what? Something like that. But those information, is it relevant after 2 years? Is it relevant after 3 or 4 years? So the answer is no, right? And that's where data science come in. Will helps to understand, and we are not using this information anymore, but we are using the other information, which is the financial transactions. The financial transaction will help to understand who you are really. Are you a student, and at the same time you are doing businesses? I'm sure that, right? Mesti ada kan? There is kan? Student yang buat businesses. Student yang buat Grab. Student yang buat online shopping, right? Personal shopper, for example, to gain more pocket money kan, to support the study, for example. So I know, so in banking, they already started to analyze this and identify this customer. So that is one of the example of customer segmentations. And the way that we detect you guys is through data science, right? So be careful. We try to understand you. All right. And looking into all these segmentations, use cases, then we are seeing what are the area of data science that are more applicable. So talking about forecasting, classification, classing, optimization. So I believe that you have gone through all this in your classes. Then you know that how comprehensive is this, and how useful whatever that you learn will be implemented and applied in the workplace. Okay. So when we decide on the use cases itself, actually, we from banking perspective, we really need to understand the priority. Okay, so that's where as a student you need to understand the business context lah. Okay, okay. You for example, you don't do this something that because you excited it. No, it's not like that. You do this because the management of the business wanted you to do this because has high impact and high feasibility. So, okay, all right. So I was talking about upskilling yourself. Now I'm talking about business context. Business context that you need to further develop and sharpen yourself. And that is only can be done through readings. Because at this moment, you are still studying. So you have less engagement with businesses. Unless you have like practical, then you will know about the business demands, or someone like me, when we have this kind of sessions, then I tell you what we are going to do lah, for example, right? So you in the first few minutes also you don't know how the insight looks like. So the second point that I'm talking about is that it's a business insight, okay, business perspective, all right? And this is where in business usually, because in business the what we call the marathon, the marathon is there's a difference. We don't really what I say, relax ke, tak ada apa ke, jalan ke apa, tak ada. We really business minded, focus on generating value, okay, to the customer. So it's in organizations, and that's why if you look into the chart itself, what we are looking for is high impact and high feasibility, and that is where we put the priority of the use cases that we are going to develop. All right, so I will start with the first use cases that really were very helpful. So the first one is credit scoring. Okay, so credit scoring traditionally, I think in the last 20 years, what will happen is that statistical has played an important role in doing credit scoring. So what they did is that they take a sample and then they score, and then if you understand, they derive the p-value, and then they know that if the p-value is below than 0%, then you reject the null hypothesis, and so on, right? So that is how they use that. But with the amount of data that is not available right now, though, so credit scoring need to consume a lot or more of data, and that's where data science come in to help you, right? Because big data come to help you to derive and extract all the features, and then data science will help you to run the features that you play around, and that is to address the credit scoring, and we will be able to score each of the individual based on the behavior itself, right? So it's married between big data and also data science, right? And also credit scoring also is very the behavior also change, right? Now in all this credit scoring, probably we depends on salary. Your salary form kan, kalau you nak apply loan, what do you submit? Okay, I'm not sure whether are you student, whether have you applied any loans before or not. Maybe so, maybe you are not familiar with the process lah, right? But those who are matured people, they know, they have kids, they may get married, they want to buy house, then they know all the loan process when they deal with the banks kan. So they will submit your salary pay. All right, so it's still needed today. The salary form, your salary result still needed today, but we need other information also for us to qualify you to take the loan with the bank, or else we will treat you as a high risk and we will not accept you for the lending. Because if we want to trust you, we need to get a lot more information to enable us to accept your application. Okay, and Bank Negara realize this. Because why? Because the environment has changed. There are a lot more people who doesn't have any salary credited, salary pay slip, but they are very highly financial inclusion. They have steady income. So how do we tap this? And that's where Bank Negara recently they launched the fintech, right? Blueprint and digital financial blueprint for Malaysia kan. So they tahu dah, they realize the situation right now. So and one of the area is implementing data science in credit scoring stuff. Okay. So the next one is fraud detections. So fraud detections ni adalah, I can speak in Malay kan doktor I'll be speaking for 30 minutes.
Language.
Oh, okay, mixed language. Okay, okay. So fraud detection ni sebenarnya adalah cara untuk detect any suspicious data, suspicious transaction actually. Macam you transfer data, you transfer money ke terrorist. You transfer money because of pyramid scheme, right? You transfer money because of the recent one scam. Scam yang terkenal dalam surat khabar, they call it adikana kan. Adikana is the culprit lah. They say lah, I don't know whether it's true or not kan. So if so banks now is starting to detect this actually. Okay, actually they have been doing this so many time, long time already. But how do with the amount of data that is growing, how do we detect it in more efficient way? All right, and that is where data science come in. Big data come in to process all this huge data, because we have a lot of financial transactions. Because if you, I'm not sure if you, there's a subject called social network analytics, right? SNA. So social network analytics will be able to understand, depict you from money that transfer from this person to another person to another person to another person. And the social analytics also will be able to give you an indicator how many incoming transfer to this guy, how many are going to be transferred to this guy. And then social network analytics also will be able to identify within all this kind of transfer, what are the communities? Communities meaning that it has used to have a lot of transfer between these communities, such a small community, and then it's a very focused community. Is this suspicious? And then if you look the demographic of that person, you're saying that, oh, this guy at the back, he's just a school teacher. Kalau kita tanya mungkin dia main duit kutu kot, contohlah kan, duit kutu. Tapi duit kutu 2 juta, 3 juta, ya betul kan? Takkanlah main duit kutu 2 juta, 3 juta within this group of people saja. Right. So that triggers that. That is a very layman term. But how do we detect it for a very huge amount of data, right? And how do we detect it anomalies? This group of communities is unusual, right? Because those unusual transactions are the potential of fraud. That is the theory. Okay, I said, let me repeat that. Unusual transaction is the potential of fraud. So when we took all this transaction, then only we derive and we further investigate whether this is a fraud, clarify whether this is fraud or not. Okay. So this is kind of example. So that's where, in order to do that, data science come in where we implement the anomaly detections, outlier detection, outlier for statistical punya ni kan, for ni is anomalies, right? Anomalies using machine learning. There's a lot of techniques lah. You can do like what the clustering and so on and so on. Okay. The third use cases pula ialah trading predictions. Okay, so you know that all your money in the banks are being invested actually. Okay, even if you put on your investment accounts, right? If you understand dekat bank like Bank Islam, Bank Rakyat, BSN, they used to have this kind of promotions that if you put a amount of this money in this account only, although it's the minimum is about 100 ringgit, then you will get the chance to win 1 million. And then suddenly the next month, someone got 1 million, got buy car lah, and dapat voucher 1,000 lah, kan? Because banks are encouraging people to build to put your money inside this kind of account because we are going to invest it for you. Okay. We are collecting. This is part of my promotion also lah. If you go to Bank Islam, you or go to the counter, cakap saya nak masuk invest dalam Al-Alfa RM100. Letaklah RM100, RM200. Mana tahu nanti awak boleh menang kan RM1 juta. Sebelum graduate dah menang dah RM1 juta kan. Okay. Dia nama dia ialah Al-Alfa. So yeah, when bank use this, when the bank have this money, we have to invest for you. And investment itself is that we will understand which investment that will give the best return. And that's where analytics come in, because we need to understand, okay, what are which company, which investment, and then within short period of time, within a certain period of time, it gives a good return, not only to the bank, but the most important to you, because you invest in Al-Alfa, we are going to give you a good rate for you. Okay. So that is the whole objective. And for that, actually, data science come in and helps to predict the investments and look into the historical data, build the features, predict, retrain again, build the features, retrain, build more features engineering, and increase the accuracy of the investment itself. Okay. So that is one of the use cases. It's very, very helpful, and I think a lot of company has come out with a lot of tools. Actually, there are tools outside there that helps to using AI on predicting trading itself. But still, the best is if you will be able to fine tune yourself, then you'll be able to do that. So maybe some of you will are interested in trading. You will invest or build your own algorithm lah. Okay, because the trading itself is very an open world, right? There's no one algorithm that fits all. No, right? Let's say we have COVID, we have earthquake, we have war between Arabs and Yemen, right? Houthis, right? All those impact has effect on the investment itself, right? So there's no one algorithm that fits all. That's where maybe you can develop your own algorithm when you start or you are really interested in this area. Okay. The fourth use cases is the one that I have been give a little bit earlier just now. We're talking about customer segmentations lah. Okay, so as I said that today banks already started understanding customer, because when we understand the customer, we'll be able to give the best value to the customer. All right, we want to gain trust and we want to give the best value and to the customer. So we want to treat you as a student. Buying Islam help you to solve all your money transfer. For example, you have GoBiz, you have internet banking. When you receive your money from your sponsor, from your JPA, or you're from Mara, or you're from your Fama. Fama is what? Fama, father mother lah kan, duit father mother kan. So how easy for you to get the money is one thing, and also to get access or buying things. So let's say that you don't have enough cash, then someone will transfer you money via JomPay, for example, and then you get the money, then you can fulfill your needs, for example, right? And then banks Islam wants to follow you. Banks want to ensure that even when you graduated, once you graduated and enter the workforce, kita nak you juga bersama dengan Bank Islam supaya kita boleh bantu you untuk berikan you produk yang terbaik, financial offer yang terbaik kepada you, kan? Seperti bantuan pinjaman, bantuan pinjaman kenderaan, bantuan pinjaman perumahan. Because in the future, believe me or not, in the future, bank is focused on these people who are very trustful, because we know you, we track you from the beginning, and we are going to give you a good credit for you actually. And once you stick to Bank Islam, we will inshallah give you a good offer for you compared to other banks. All right, because we already started understanding student customer actually. All right, and doing that will be along with the whole of your life lah, until you get married, until you have kids also. Sebab you have kids, you perlukan bantuan keuangan kan, because you nak beli rumah, rumah selesa pun perlukan bantuan keuangan. So kita akan bantu you untuk memudahkan you dalam mencapai cita-cita you lah. Alright, and we already started doing this because we have done the customer segmentations, right, and understand to you, and we will very targeted to you, and with much good offer for you lah, inshallah. Okay. Okay, the last one is the use cases number 5 lah. Use cases number 5 ni is one of the is AI lah actually, is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence yang mana if you walk into the counter kan, dekat branch kan, benar tak experience duduk lama sangat kan? Benar tak duduk lama sangat? Kan nombor tu sampai 20-30 nombor kan? Jadi dekat counter bank tu lama, ramai orang satu hal, kadang-kadang ada daripada 5 counter hanya 2 counter yang buka atau 1 counter yang buka kan. Jadi ini adalah satu frustration jugalah as a customer kan. Kita nak good service quality to treat the customer kan, regardless lah orang tu ada duit sikit ke duit banyak ke, tak perlu. Kita penting orang tu masuk ke bank Islam, kita akan layan sama rata. Okay, jadi salah satu projek yang kita buat ni ialah kita ada guna AI kan, yang mana kita will detect customer tu bila dia akan ada video, bila dia masuk aja dalam bank Islam, kita akan start counting saat dia tiba di Islam dan saat dia duduk situ sendiri. Okay, sebab kita akan kira berapa lama dia duduk. Okay, tetapi bila berapa lama dia duduk tu nanti, kita akan kira lah kalau dalam customer tu dalam satu masa ada seorang customer, then immediately dia punya average waiting time tu should be small lah, correct? Kalau dalam masa itu ada banyak customer, maknanya average waiting time dia adalah bergantung kepada berapa banyak customer yang ada di situ bersama dengan berapa banyak counter yang telah dibuka kan. Sebab kita average serving time with customer also mengambil masa 10 atau 15 minit. So ada 3 variables sini. number of customer, number of counter yang dibuka, dan average serving time untuk setiap customer itu sendiri. Okay, jadi with these three variables, AI will come in and will be able to detect average wait time so that we can optimize the time. Kita tak nak orang tu membazir masa dan tunggu terlalu lama disebabkan oleh asbab-asbab ataupun disebabkan oleh reason yang tak munasabah lah kan. So kita akan pastikan counter branch manager sendiri akan memastikan bahawa mereka semua itu akan dilayan dengan baik sebaiknya mungkin. Ini yang kita cuba buat di Bank Islam sendiri. Okay. Jadi kalau you tengok situ dalam satu demo yang kita buat ni, kalau once orang tu datang, immediately dia ada seorang saja, immediately ada immediate. Kita akan ada alert system kat belakang, akan immediate. Oh, ada seorang customer datang lah, tak ada orang. Please attend. Dia terus branch manager akan datang dan attend dia dan kita akan rollnya. So ini adalah salah satu aplikasi lah AI yang digunakan dalam bank sebenarnya. It's very interesting. You are already in faculty mathematics kan, doing data science ni is very interesting field lah for you. So you can explore a lot more, alright? A lot of things. Because just to share, maybe I should tell this earlier lah. I was in studying in MMU, so in FSK jugalah, and doing programming. And wondering that there's a lot of things you can do with programming, right? And not only because you cut and paste daripada luar and put inside your Jupyter notebook and then you showcase to everybody lah. Bukan itu saja. Tapi yang penting ialah kalau you boleh buat sendiri your source code, build from scratch, that is your satisfaction actually. Okay. Cut and paste ni betul lah, I pun dulu cut and paste. Tapi if you can develop yourself, you develop your own algorithm and that you study what are the problem statement outside there. Kan? Orang tunggu lama sangat. That is a problem statement kan? Orang tak boleh nak lepas loan. Pasal apa? So this is one of problem statement. So is there any way that as a data science with the programming skills needed for you to analyze this, because the data is not available. It's just that for you to consume it. You consume the data and process it, and in such a way it's explainable to the business that this is my recommendations, blah 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 blah. All right. So I hope that I have already talked about 37 minutes already. I hope that I already try to give you an overview, saying that what are the criteria we needed, what are the focus by the management, what are the second one is about talking about a business inside that is a needs, right? First kita talk about talent, talk about skill set, and then kita talk about what are the needed from to understand business, right? And then the third one is you what I'm saying is that you have the skills, you have to build your business inside, then you have to go what do you desire want to be. All right. So because in this field there are so much changes happen in a very short period of time. Okay. So in my opinion, for example, if you look outside there are a lot more roles for you to prepare yourself. Last time we call data scientist lah, and then we have a data engineer, right? But in today, they are not talking about data scientist and data engineer. We're talking about machine learning engineer. We're talking about cloud engineer, right? Like we're talking about cloud hybrid engineer, a more specific one, right? We talk about machine learning production engineer, right? So these are the fields that change very fast, and in order to do that, you have to do a lot of research yourself and do self-study on this field. Okay, and then make yourself, the second thing is make yourself of understanding one business domain. All right, and I think that is not, you cannot decide now because you are still studying. You will decide that when you already started to enter the workforce. So let's say that you are in a pharmaceutical company as a data scientist, for example. Then you put yourself inside the pharmaceutical company for the next 3 years, for example, 2 years, 2 years or 3 years. Then you decide whether is this my interest or not, right? Because it happens to me, and when I stay in the same field for 20 years, in telecommunication for 20 years. Then just that when I just reach 40, 41, and my age 41, then I decide that I need to generalize. Then I move to banking, right? So that's why I decide. So there's a different thought process lah, kan? So but understand having a business domain that will be very very helpful lah, because that will distinguish you between you and other candidates who are going to get the job nanti. All right. So I think it's already 11:40. Dr. Hizma asked me to pose any questions, and so I don't have any questions lah to pose to you, but I would like to hear from you actually. That will be much more better, right? Kan? Okay, is there any questions? Because I already at the end of my presentations.
MashaAllah, thank you so much, Encik Fairuz. We have so many inputs from the talk and the slide as well. Okay, I think we're not just looking forward on the banking system, but I think overall in the industry also, I think applied and at all these points that you have given just now, right? Okay, so before we continue on the opinion or do you have any questions from the floor? Okay, students, do you have questions? Ada soalan tak? Okay, bukan senang nak jumpa orang industri that know about the skills and knowledge from the industry. So actually this is a platform for you to at least plan. Okay, what is your interest, and then what knowledge or what skill that you need to add on before you facing the industry field later on. Okay, so do you have any questions? Ada tak soalan? If you have any question, you can switch on your mic and ask question. Lecturer also welcome to ask questions and not just students.
Yeah, I think just to share myself lah, and I mean what my experience. I was a student also, like you guys also before, right? So sometimes I have to admit I was not I was not having a good grade also lah when I graduated lah. But at least I graduated lah, right? I was not having a very good grade also lah. But when I entered the workforce, when I see the applicability, I mean whatever that the useful of whatever I learned in the university is being implemented in the industry, and that really used by other people, and that makes money. And that makes money, and that's what triggered me. Oh, I want this. Kan? Oh, I want this. I want to do this. I want. The first one was during the time what makes money, and then of course kita pun not a very wealthy family and so on, and so talking about how to get money, a lot more money, kan? And so that's triggered me. And then that's where when I was student, I do programming, and until today at the age of 41 or 43 also, I still do programming, although I'm at the senior level of the in the positions also, but I still do programming, and I believe that even when I reach 50 ke 55 tahun nak pension pun, still use that skill actually, because I think I found that I very passionate about that. And then I can do a lot more things on exploring the data itself lah, right? So and I know that when we explore and using that set of whatever that you learn from the school, and it benefits, and it can meet the objective, and you will be able to explain it to another in a layman term, and then you will be able to derive an additional insight yang mana, for example, orang tu dia tak dapat explore. Dia hanya bagi assumptions je. When we talk kan, kita hanya bagi assumptions. Oh, I feel, oh, I believe, I think. Kita hanya bagi assumptions, right? Tapi you guys has the skill, kan? You know programming, you can derive the data, you can mining the data itself, So you give facts and data. You give facts. When you give facts, then people will start listening to you. Correct. And that's where you get your trust. And that's where you get attention. Then people will focus on you itself. Because I just want to share, that is what I had experienced, right? When I talk to other people, we talk to people, oh, I think lah macam ni, mungkin customer ni macam ni. Oh, I think tak, oh, tak. I rasa tak. Kenapa you kata tak? Because I dah dapat data from this one, from from this date to the date to this date. Then we know that okay, kita can start. Then people start believing you because you are talking about fact. All right. So I welcome any question from you.
Okay, there is question from the floor. Okay, Dr. Taufik asked. So when you do data analytics, so the sumber data tu datang dari mana, and apa tools yang digunakan untuk system development?
Okay. So sorry. So the for financial transactions, for we track all the financial transactions. Your when you credit, when you debit, meaning when you transfer out, when you transfer in, all this has a records actually. Okay, so has a records. And then from the transfer to which are you transfer to Maybank? Are you transfer to third party? Are you make a IBG transfer to overseas? All these tools we track. Okay, so in Bank Islam we do have infrastructure lah. We have a data warehouse that really tracks this, and then the data warehouse help us to retrieve and give all the informations lah. Actually. Okay.
Okay, there's also another question from Dr. Sangbang. May I know the data analytics used for banks for investments? Are decisions made by computers or only suggested by computer and decisions still by human? Currently, what is the gap of AI with human decision? Any specific situation where human decision is better than AI?
Okay, so for trading, this is quite tricky juga lah. Okay, because the reason is that when we want to evaluate any investment, it has to have a human factor. All right, and you have to validate the result that been given by the human. Okay, you just cannot that you blindly trust the human. Actually, you have to get some human judgment, and that is the reason is because there are a lot of factors that factor in, like economic factor, political factor, right? Weather factor, and climate change, right? That has influence on the investment. So this one, some of the information does not captured by the AI itself. They are super advanced super advanced tools that already started using this, because on the basic one, of course, kita akan scrap all the information from the internet, right? Kita akan scrap all the information from the internet, and then kita buat NLP, dan kita analyze that, and then we faktorkan. Okay. Tapi in advance, I know that in advance area, dia company dia gunakan huge supercomputing lah, deep learning, to predict whether investment in this particular country, what will be the what will looks like, right? And they are doing that, and then they also factor in like the weather, probability of earthquake, probability of banjir kan. Malaysia ni kita ada banjir, kita tak tahu pun dulu kan, dekat Shah Alam kan, tiba-tiba aja ada banjir kan. Dulu banjir pun ada 2 tahun je, seminggu, sehari 2 hari je, tapi tiba-tiba lah sebulan banjir dekat Shah Alam kan. So something like that. They are company are doing that, more advanced data investment prediction actually. Okay.
Okay, we have another question. Okay, does grade really important or skills that we learn to work as a data developer? This is a question from students.
Okay, my opinion is your skill. Okay, your skill, you have to make yourself skill to, you must have a good skills, okay? But what is the difference between grade and skills? Because if you have a good skills, then your grade also will be higher. I don't see I don't see the differences, right? Because whatever that you learn is also related to building your skills. right? So when you have a good skills, automatically your grade also will be higher. But when you talk to interviewer, don't talk about grades lah. Of course, when you have a great skills, your grade will be higher. Tapi jangan talk about your grade, but talk about your skill, because the interview know, okay, you are very good grade, but focus on your skill. All right, and your skill is that we already start following the interview process like Facebook or Google actually. Yang mana kita akan bagi like what we did in Bank Islam. Before you try to go in Bank Islam, we give you a coursework, and then we will test your Python syntax, right? How do you want to do a group by this column, 2 columns, buat lambda expression with calling or something like that, or whatever lah. And how do you do a permutations? How do you handle imbalanced data set, for example, right? How do you reduce your reduce your overfitting, kan? How do you manage if you have what is the use for PCA, for example? If you are able to understand that and answer that, that will be very good, because that is what we are using right now, and we want to have whatever that you learn is being applied now, kan? How do you settle your underfitting, kan? Is this algorithm, how do you make a scoring between the measurements itself? Measurement of the accuracy kan ada banyak kan. How do you explain false positive, precision matrix, for example, kan? If you are able to explain that, obviously that is all whatever your skill, your grade is higher lah. Tapi if you are able to explain it in very layman term, then okay, I think that should be very good. Okay. Next question is.
Tadi apa tools yang digunakan untuk sistem development?
Oh, okay. Tools ni at this moment, how do I say it? In banking, there are many tools lah. Okay, we usually we use relational database. Okay, relational database ni it can be SQL Server, Oracle, Postgres, relational database lah. Okay, that is for reporting. Core banking system, they use mainframe. So if you learn understand what is a mainframe kan, IBM mainframe, it's a hierarchical architecture punya kan. So that is what ni. But for analytic itself ni, we already we should start doing focusing on unstructured data lah, like text mining, kan, images, videos, the what that we see just now. This is unstructured data, alright. Okay, that's the tools lah. Okay. So question is, do you agree that strong foundation in database, data warehouse becoming okay. Yes, I think the focus is data analyst, right? Is it useful in becoming a data analyst? Actually, data analyst ni, if the strong the only thing that in my opinion required is that understanding in the database lah, and data mining, not on the data warehouse, because data warehouse ni is a infrastructure, it's more IT kan, dia infrastructure, you dah kena ada berapa RAM, berapa you punya you punya rack tu, berapa you punya dua U ke you punya RAM, you punya specifications, and kalau you guna private cloud, then you kena how to install Kubernetes, how to manage all your private cloud and your private machine kan, virtual machines, VM you kan. So tapi dapat data analyst ni sebenarnya ialah skills in understanding data mining and also understanding the business context. So we are talking about not only data context, we are talking perspective, different context analytics, not data analytics. We used to have a data analytics, but we now I like to promote the words context analytics, because in data you have many contexts, right? In data you have many contexts. So from that data, you move to the next level of understanding is context. And that context is you will be able to do, I call it context analytics. Okay, so it's a new word. I think I read somewhere, I can't remember, but it's very useful as a today lah. Okay. So Zaki was asking, is it stressful to work as a data developer? Do you stay up late night? Well, I
What is
think
the lifestyle for developer like Encik Fairuz, right? In banking.
so lifestyle ni depends lah, mungkin sebab actually when I was young, then I work very late lah, and not today lah. Today I have kids, I have needs, so I have people under my team members, and so I just give I play a different role lah. Okay, when you reach as a senior ni, you play a different role. But when I was young like you, is what I focus in my passion lah. What do you passion of? Right? Do you passion of doing analysis something? Are you patient on programming? Are you patient on playing the data? Are you patient? What you have to find out what is your passion. Then once you have passionate ni, when you have that passion, then regardless lah, you work at late night ke, you work hujung minggu ke, hari raya pun you work, it doesn't matter, kan? It doesn't matter because you guys are still young, and I encourage you guys work hard lah. There's no, I understand people who says work hard, work smart, work hard, kan? Saying that work smart but not work hard is a very different perspective, because in order for you to work smart, you have to work hard first. In order for you to work smart, you have to work hard, because through work hard, then only you will know how smart it is, because you will learn from the mistake, kan? So you have to work hard lah. You have to work hard, and you have to work very hard. And I remember when I was waiting at the airport, someone I was pergi mana lah, I tak ingat. Dulu kat airport I still do some programming kan. I was talking someone tegur lah. Oh, you still doing this, right? Okay. Yeah, it's a local processing. Kan, local processing lah, because kalau you have other clouds, then you boleh lah buat laju sikit kan, tapi you local processing, it depends on whatever your laptop capacity lah. And so I remember doing that lah. So even tunggu dekat airport pun you buat juga, Sabtu Ahad pun you buat juga. And so it's and then you should enjoy it lah. So but the key is you have to find what is your what you passionate of. Okay. All right. So the last one, okay. The next question is, okay. Lily Suryani says that understanding business domain is useful.
So there is a question from actually from faculty. This is faculty medic, is it?
Medic.
Yeah, I am novice in computer science. I want to become data analyst. Where should I start? A few successful programmers have dropped out from college. What do you think?
Actually, medic is a very interesting field because I met with a few doctors yang already start doing programming lah. Okay, and dia start programming at the later age lah. I mean,
sorry, I think this is from communication lah, fakulti bahasa dan komunikasi.
Oh.
Yes.
Tapi tak apalah. I mean, maksudnya ialah it's not a person from a IT background kan, that already involved in IT. So I think if I quote the examples that I met with a medical doctor that already started using doing programming, maybe exceptional because he's very intelligent lah. That's why he become a medical doctor is one thing. But he can pick up any new knowledge very quick. Also, it's maybe another factor lah, right? But no doubt that even you are in a medical domain, also medical practitioner, but you can easily pick up a programming. That is very fantastic lah, actually. And I do see that people who are graduated in, if you are a fakulti bahasa kan, I can recommend you, you can look for this guy. This guy, he is graduated from UUM in literacy actually. But now he's a data engineer. You can ask him. This is a real use cases. My friend. He's my friend.
Oh, very interesting. So maybe next like him. So how actually they convert the domain, right, from the literature student to data scientist as a what we call it career, right?
Ya, ada. Memang ada. Kejap I cari nama dia. Abdul Halim nama dia. Mana ni? Abdul Halim. Dia sekarang dia data engineer dekat aspirasi ni. Tapi dia tulis apa tak? Dia tak tulis apa dia graduate lah. Dia tak nak tulis lah kot. Dia tak nak tulis lah dia graduate apa kan. Tapi dia dah buat lah programming. Dia lagi hebat programming daripada saya lah.
Oh, seriously? Okay.
Dia UUM. Dia ambil sastra sebenarnya doktor. Memang dia ambil sastra.
But maybe after his graduate, he found his passion in programming code.
Yes. So ni doctor, I send his profile in your LinkedIn, in your WhatsApp. Maybe you can share here lah.
Okay, alright.
So dia is a sastra. Dan dia, tapi as I said lah, maybe masa dia belajar dia tak ada interest. Tapi bila dia start kerja, daripada situ dia build the interest.
Okay, talking about the passionate kan, Cik Fairuz. Actually, I have one question. Okay, nowadays, because maybe there's so much distraction on social platforms. So students, I think more like having all the courses because of grade. Okay, maksudnya dia masuk kelas, do the assignments because of the grades. And sometimes we ask students, apa nak jadi? I mean, what is your plan? What is your career you want to be after graduate? But sometimes because they still do not find their passion, their interest. So how actually, because at this Zoom, we have first year student as well. So how actually to encourage them during the masa student, how to encourage to find their passion, their interest. And then they can looking forward what actually career they want after they finish their study.
Okay, so if I want to, in my opinion, for the students has to have their patience. The first thing is they have to read a lot. They have to read a lot. Okay, and then they have to find out what are the interested project that the industry is offer outside there that he can join. So for example, datathon lah, kan? Kaggle, datathon, alright? So put yourself and challenge yourself, join these kind of competitions for you to know what your passions, alright? And then you don't have to go through by individual, right? Because when you go to datathon, hackathon, for example, they call it hackathon, I forgot the word. Hackathon, you go as a group. And that particular group akan ada banyak role. Ada yang role sebagai data engineer, ada role sebagai data analyst, ada role sebagai data scientist, ada yang role sebagai presenter. Kan? Bila pergi kepada hackathon tu. Jadi, you form yourself, among yourself, siapa nak main, siapa, you carilah seorang aja yang pandai programming, yang lain semua pandai cerita pun tak apa, kan? Lepas tu nanti you akan build your passion. Okay? Sebab you tak ada, mungkin you tak build you tak ada skills in programming or technical skills sekali pun, tapi you kena, kalau you form your group, ambil seorang je yang ada tahu programming, dah cukup dah, kan? Ambil seorang je tahu programming, kan? Lepas tu yang lain semua yang pandai bercerita, pandai yang data analyst, yang pandai buat slide, kan? Okay, kemudian form satu group ni, dan carilah mana-mana hackathon, pergi buat online pun tak apa. Dan start small. Sebab nanti once you pergi hackathon pertama, you akan rasa interested yang pergi ke hackathon kedua. And because not because of the money ataupun hadiah tu, tapi because of you will meet other people, then you challenge yourself, and then you say that there's someone from UKM is much better than UPM lah. How come we cannot do like this? How come UPM cannot? UPM is good in computer science, right? There's someone very good from UITM lah. UITM pula, alamak, kena lawan ni. Kena lawan ni. Dan you form lah. Dan UPM hantarlah, bukan seorang satu grup. Hantar 10 grup. Dia macam JDT A, JDT B kan. Hantar 10 grup terus. Jadi you form that group. So I think that is one of the area lah. Second ialah Kaggle lah. So Kaggle ni hadiah dia lumayan. Tapi dataset dia susah. Dataset dia susah. Unless you have a good supercomputer ataupun you buy cloud ke, sebab dataset dia besar. Kaggle. Tapi it is very good.